Hey, who's that, Stacy? Good morning. Happy day. Good morning, Lori. Yo, what's going on, Patricia? Good morning, Max. Today. Thank you for sharing. I see people sharing already. I would like to talk about triage. Saving patience. And hurt this patient. Embrace his patient. Good morning, Mary. How do you triage? How do you spot priorities? What is a priority? What we measure is usually what's most important to people. So what do we measure? It just doesn't apply to war. Triage is a survival thing. So what is most important? What do we need to focus on? How do you measure it? Oh, I put something. Representative political parties are the single point of failure intended to hand nations to bankers. The root fail is intellect. Yes, absolutely. Not political parties. The root fail is intellect. Share. Boom. Share that out. Know people. Boom, boom. Because politics is dead. It's useless. It was an art form given to fools. To fools. That's what it does. Gets people to pick and choose what's really important to them and throw out what's important to other people. What does triage mean? Did I spell it wrong? I managed to catch you today. Hey, Eileen, airway, breathing, and circulation. Right, Lori, the earth has lungs. School systems have lungs. The species has lungs. The bees have lungs. You know, what's most important? When somebody's in danger, how do you determine something is in danger? You know, do you focus on the bad breath in the wartime? You know, you focus on their foot fungus. Do you focus on foot odor? Get some foot powder. Get some foot powder. He's bleeding from his neck. Got smelly feet. What the hell do we do? You don't go get foot powder. That's kind of how the world is. Can we spot priority? Let me see. The sickest go first. You know, the sickest go first, right, Laura? I think you're a nurse, aren't you? Well, the sickest go first, but don't you also focus on the dying, right? Like the sickest go first or the dying go first. The people who literally will not make it. I think, was it the Vietnam? One of the wars, they put that mark on your head. I think it's like an X or something. Hang on, let me bring YouTube there. They put an X on their head. Just like, they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it. Nothing you can do. Move on. Keep moving forward. Or they mark them in a different way so you know that, you know, we can probably save this one. All right, let me see. Let me get YouTube in fray. Brother Jason, good morning. The sickest go first, right? Like, because if the goal is to win, but that's only if the goal is to win, right, Lori? The goal isn't to win. It doesn't matter who you heal or save, or if you deal with the fact that they got a runny nose, but they got shot in the head, you know. All right, there we go. YouTube is in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Brother Augustine. Clear over there. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's get rolling. Switch the music. Cue other music. All right, how we doing? Right, because what you focus on, what you measure, is most important to the people. And I think what you measure determines where you intend to lead. Part of why I am really don't care at all about the GDP. The GDP has absolutely nothing to do with anywhere I want to go. If I'm a corporation, I care about the GDP. If I'm running in the stock market and I'm trying to take wealth from other people, poor people, then I care about the GDP. If I'm trying to build a better world, I don't actually give two damns about the GDP. SAT is another one, because they got another measure for the SAT or something. Standardized testing. What's the most important? What do we test kids in? So it's not ever like just politics or triage all day long. All day long. Kids are out playing. It's like, oh, the bees attacked us. The hornets are getting us. Mommy, they come running in the house. Daddy, well, help me. Who do you help? Which kid do you help the first? Do you help the kid that didn't get stung? And all right, well, you're hungry. You didn't eat lunch. You go eat lunch and you got a runny nose here. And you got the kid with like 8 bee stings on his face. Who do you help first? I think we don't measure the right things because the measurement is what people focus on, right? Unfortunately, we have this leadership thing. It always leads people to focus on certain measures, and that's what their talking points tend to float around. I don't think we measure the right things in society. I don't think we measure the right things in the world. And until we measure the right things, we're never going to get to where we want to get to. Like a post earlier was about political parties, this whole voting and representative model of government. To me, it's crap. I have no interest in it. Like, I don't even look at politics anymore. Other than to laugh at them, I still can't believe people believe in this nonsense. It was set up. Political parties, they were designed, right, to get you because you want 80% of this thing. That's what you believe in. You're indoctrinated to, so you jump on that bandwagon, and they always put in that 20% that you don't really like, but you go along with because you got to fight the other side. To me, that's dumb because that 20% is always involved in murder. It's always involved in corruption. It's always related to bombing children and stupid things. But we don't measure the right things. Political parties in this whole representative model of government, it's a failed experiment. It needs to go away because you get people who want that 80%, which usually are good things for the most part, but you get them to embrace that 20% evil. And I think it's that what we have to measure. That's what I measure personally. I measure, do you murder people? If you murder people, don't talk to me about children's safety. If human rights means nothing to you, then you're not measuring anything anywhere I want to go. That's why I think politics has to die. It has to die a quick, horrible death because we're not in a fight for power. We are in a literal fight for survival of the human race, but we're always measuring the wrong things. And I don't know if that'll lead into a discussion about direct democracy, but that's not really where I'm trying to go with it. What I'm trying to say is that, when you identify something can't fix a problem, then why are you still pushing on it? Why are you still supporting it? Why are you still voting for it? Why are you still being part of the problem instead of going in a different direction to find the solution? Triage. If you know you can't save the earth with political parties, then why do you still do it? You can't save certain species, then focus on the ones you can save. If this doesn't go anywhere, the human race, continuing to focus on the non-priorities. We got to talk more about what to measure. Measurement is important. Kids, they measure them by English, science, math scores. Things that I find completely insignificant to certain types of kids. Me, I believe in the automated economy. It really doesn't matter if I believe in it. It's coming no matter what you do. It's coming. You can't stop it. The robots are coming. They're either going to help the human race or they're going to murder the human. Either going to help the human race or they're going to help corporations make profit, and then we just disappear or they end up killing us. Like robots, in the automated economy, they can be used. They can't make the world fair. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, the world is not fair. Life is not fair. And it's never going to be fair. It's not equal. It's never going to be equal. You have people who are born without legs. You got people who are born that can't see. You got people who are born, and everybody's got their own challenge. People are born in different communities. You'll never make things fair. So, robots and automation and giving people the bare minimums of what they need to not become mentally ill and psychopathic poverty, it's not about to make life fair. It's about opportunity. It's about taking away the bare minimums that everybody should have. So we have less mentally ill people, less psychopathic or desperate people, less warrior-like people. So we can start to have more intellectuals that aren't struggling to try to survive. So automation and the robot economy, to me, I mean, we shouldn't be using it to make life fair. The whole goal is we're doing triage. We realize where we're bleeding out worst in the world, where we're bleeding out worst in the country, where we're bleeding out worst, and using robots and automation to put a bottom level, right? To make sure people stop dying from not having food and dying from the weather, dying from not having water. We can fix that. They're dying, and Americans' coffee prices are too high. In Europe, the latte creamer costs are going way too high because of the trade war with China. They're like focusing on like what's most important. I think robots and the automation economy, you know, it solves certain problems and it's good triage because we do something that needs to be a priority. We look at who is hurting the worst in the world. We make sure everything kind of gets pulled up. We have to make extinct things that should no longer exist. Violence and rape and conflict. And that's really what robots in the automation economy would do. It takes out conflict. It removes a lot of conflict. Because that's what people conflict over. If people have house, water, food, you'll almost have no conflict in the world. If we use priorities to solve certain problems, you don't have to worry about conflict. We can pretty much extinct violence, financial conflict and physical conflict. So I think that's what robots should do. That's what I think should do. But we have an issue measuring. Still no cigarettes. I see y'all talking about that. What Brother Daniel got going on? Still no cigarettes. Going on 2 months. Hard as habit. I had to quit, even cut back on the cannabis. See, look at this, brother. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Priority. Daniel, what did you do? Did you identify in your life that there were certain things that were higher priority than others? That all that tar and carcinogen and crap that they put in cigarettes were going to kill you maybe before the government will, maybe before politics will, maybe before other things will. And you prioritize that. You took a measure of life. I want to be alive longer. Therefore, I'm giving up the thing that's going to kill me. Awesome. Amazing. Good job. I mean, that's what you have to do is triage. Look at your life from a life perspective. What am I eating? Am I growing any of my own food? Am I strong and independent, or am I dependent on government and infrastructure? Those who excel at certain measures, like murdering and killing and shooting people, sending weapons all over the world. Triage. We fail at it. We completely fail at it. SAT, that's not a measure of anything important. Why do you want to constantly make children that are good at math, science, and English in a world that struggles with having rights to human life? I think we need more loving kids than anything else. I think we need more humane kids more than we need mathematicians. And we already got the robots. We really don't need the mathematicians. We already got the software. We need more kids probably with less degrees. You don't like the sound of that, but that's okay. That's where my mind is going, what I'm kind of thinking about. We need people who are more people. We need to triage the fact that we're absolutely not raising a generation to look out for each other. We're raising a generation that can continue in the conflicts that we were too stupid to solve. Standardized testing is bull. Yes, it is, Stacy. It is all bull. It's a waste of time. It's a measure that means absolutely nothing, and we have a whole education system that's based on it. Now they got that new thing where instead of SAT, they're going to measure, what is that called? Adversity, where they take measures. I'll show this to you. Like it's nonsense. Hold on, let me show it to you. They're going to measure adversity. And honestly, I don't completely know what it is. I kind of saw it and I was just like, oh, here we go. I kind of laugh at this stuff because half of this stuff is just ridiculous. Hang on. We need to free children. I don't really believe in the education system the way it is, so I don't really believe that they're going to come up with anything that's wise when it comes to it. I think they need to let children go. They need to free children and let them go be free creatures and decide what they want to do on the planet. And stop forcing them to work for big corporations. I think that's probably the dumbest thing we do. And that's what the education system for, is standardized testing. Because if that's important to you, getting kids to work for Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Monsanto, Bayer, and central banking, then that's what we should do. We should measure their scores in those subjects that those big corporations need. If not, if our issue is we can't seem to find our human side, then we need to measure humanity. We need to measure, well, not just kids, but politicians. How humane are you? Are you human at all? Do you even care when children die? Do you even care when bombs are dropped on them? Or you just want to keep doing that? Like, oh, I don't even want to get into John Bolton, but check this out. Adversity.
Starting this weekend, across the country, millions will be attending high school graduations. And as more than 65% of those seniors get ready to start at their chosen college, they should consider themselves lucky. That's because in light of a recent college admission scandals, the College Board has apparently decided to crack down on kids getting into colleges thanks to their parents' deep pockets. Now, just recently, the ability to corrupt the SAT was widely exposed with the Varsity Blues scandal. But instead of doing the smart thing and working to fix the problem and announce new security methods for test administrators, the College Board has decided to do something radically different. Today, the board announced their plans to issue a so-called adversity score. This is going to reflect social and economic backgrounds of test takers and to be sent combined with the student's actual test scores to the institution the student is applying to. Okay, now this sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, even if the intentions behind this plan could be justified, what methodology could be used to accurately develop a formula which measures only neighborhood and school level data without personal data to determine how much adversity a 17-year-old has actually faced? Even more crazy, that student would never even know the formula's result or how their socioeconomic background was calculated to help.
All right, I gotta stop. All right, it actually is what I thought it was. It is. It's racism. Oh my God, that's crazy. That is crazy. They want to put racism in the school district. Oh, okay. All right, listen. So they want to look at, well, maybe classism, racism, religionism. They want to put it all in the school. Like, so I guess so. If you don't do good in math and science and English or something, and you're from this particular religion or race or community or class, then, you know, it ups your chance of like excelling in those areas and gives you an excuse because your people in your area don't do well in that. Do you know how dumb that is? How ridiculously stupid that is? Like, example, do you want robots that work or not? Look, if certain kids from certain communities do better at math, they're the ones who should be doing the math, driving our world forward. If other communities don't, I don't think I want you to make in my airplane. I don't think I want you writing a song. You know how dumb this is? This is stupid. You know, do people in certain communities struggle with certain concepts than others? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Everybody's put in a different place. That's a means for, you want to help them or help guide them in the directions that they excel at. Perhaps, but you certainly don't want to judge them and not tell them that you're judging them and giving them a pass because they're from the community. If in anything, then that's not like handling it at the root cause. Like if you know a community is struggling with a thing and they want to be better in that thing, then you apply the resources to help them with that thing. And specifically when it comes to kids and homework and all of this nonsense, which I still don't believe in, you're freeing their parents so they can spend more time with them maybe. Maybe if you live in a crony capitalist or crony socialist society and the people don't have the ability to spend time with their kids because they're working 2 or 3 jobs, can't help with homework, yeah, maybe they're going to struggle with some of the schoolwork. So how do you fix that? Well, maybe the parents shouldn't have to work. This is why I'm saying I don't get why y'all love jobs so daggone. Like, that's slavery. It is literally forced labor. No, they didn't go grab you out of Ireland or Africa and put a sword to your neck and chains and make you do the work. But they damn sure got a military industrial complex and a prison industrial complex that tells you you will go to prison if you don't go to school, get a great education, get a good job working for big corporations, we'll put you in prison. That's the same thing as forced labor, slavery. I really don't believe in this. I think there's some people who are good at love and they suck at everything else. But I think love is just as important. In fact, it's more important than math, science, and English. There are some kids who are great at music. And if that kid excels in music, damn it, then they shouldn't be doing math, science, and English. It's a waste of damn time. Let them excel at music. Why? Because the people doing the mathematics, the math, science, and English, they need good music. I want them to be soothed when they make the robots to come and grow the food and build the house. I want the robots to work. And how does it work? It's because when they get off of whatever they're doing, chasing their passion, writing the software, they can hear good music. They can see beautiful art. They can see crayon works. I don't believe in education. I don't. I believe in humanication. I think you're born, you got certain gifts, you have certain loves and passion, and we, the adults, should be building a society to let the children run in the places they got those passions. I don't believe in forcing them down a certain route because it makes profit. If GDP is the measure for your economy, then it makes sense. If all your leaders talk about GDP, then it makes sense. Why? Because their priority is corporations. Corporations, like all the wars about oil. They're all about corporations and business. In my country, Democrats and Republicans, all they want to do is make big businesses big dollars. And that's why they always talk about standardized testing, GDP, and want to invade all the nations. Y'all see all these differences between Trump and Obama. I don't see any different on any important measure. Somebody tell me, give me one important difference, one important measure, a measurable statistic that actually matters, that we should call triage, important to the human race, human civilization, and extinction. Extinction of the lower class, the middle class, the underclass, and large portions of the upper class so the elite can run everything. What measure has improved under Trump? What measure has improved under Obama? What measure of who's before him? Mickey Mouse, who was Bush? What measure improved under Bush? None. More wars, more wars, more wars. And they cheer it. They cheer the treason. Because what John Bolton now talking about? Sending 120,000 young American kids with weapons of war and guns to go murder people in the Middle East. That's treason. I think you shouldn't even be able to threaten treason. I think that should be a hangable offense. You shouldn't be able to threaten to send little kids, young people, to go fight for corporations' oil. Like, that's just crazy. It's crazy to me. We live in a crazy world because we fail at identifying a problem and doing triage as to what's the most important. Until you have governments that don't murder people, including our own citizens, why in the hell are you talking about healthcare and GDP and education and all of these things? Apparently there's a core problem with the system. All right, I mean, good mugga. Who was the guy? The guy went to the bottom of the ocean and found some trash. The guy went to Challenger Deep. Who was this? Hang on. The guy went on an exploration went to the deepest part of the earth that we know of. Hang on, let me show you this. Look what he found. He went down there. What'd he find? Triage. What's most important?
I'm Alex Schultz. And I'm Andrew Cooper. In 2015, we took a surf trip to Bali, Indonesia, and saw firsthand.
Meanwhile, a group of explorers have ventured to where no human being has ever been before. The deepest part of the Pacific Ocean. What they found was two things. A, exciting. B, sad. Why? Here's John Huddy.
At the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, lower than Mount Everest, is tall. Explorer Victor Vescovo and his 5 Deeps expedition made the 35,850-foot journey down into the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, Challenger Deep. He found what is believed to be several new marine species, including a shrimp-like amphipod never seen or documented before. He also found something any person can find on the sidewalk or gutter: trash. Vescovo said he spotted what appeared to be a candy wrapper and plastic bag, garbage that apparently sunk 7 miles down, settling on the silty bottom where no human had been before, and yet again highlighting the problem of pollution worldwide. A recent United Nations report shows that plastic pollution has increased tenfold since 1980, along with the 300 to 400 million tons of metals, toxic sludge, and other waste from industrial facilities dumped annually into the world's water.
Tenfold. You go to the bottom of the ocean where no man has gone before, Captain Kirk, and you're finding trash. Literally trashing the earth in places we have not gone. Trash around the world, litter is increased tenfold. That's not winning. That's not winning, y'all. But we're not measuring trash. We don't measure trash. We measure oil, we measure GDP, we measure gold, we measure how many big corporations are doing great. We measure little Cindy got a job for Goldman and Sachs. We measure how much your income is. Like when you meet people, it's like, isn't it kind of crazy when you meet people and they start bragging about their kids? Oh, she got a job. She making $120,000 a year. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Who's she working for? Mars Candy Bars. Mars? You mean like the company Mars? You mean the people that got trash? That Daniel says, people got trash. Wait a minute. Mars, they got plastic wrappers at the bottom of the ocean. Mars, it doesn't use hemp plastic to make packages so they break down and don't end up on the bottom. Mars, the massive corporation, and like all the other massive corporations, have negative externalities, which is why they can pay a salary of $120,000 a year. This is a good idea. Measuring the wrong things. Wrong thing. What you say, Daniel? Like a candy bar wrapper on Mars. Oh, on Mars. I just meant Mars bars. Well, Daniel, that's a whole nother discussion. Yeah, I think there's candy wrappers up there. I think we've already been up there a long time ago. But measuring the right thing. Oh, that's a good measure, though. You got me, Daniel. Measuring whistleblowers. How many whistleblowers are coming forward telling on your government? How many whistleblowers are coming forward telling on your political party? I got a good one in my country. How many people has your political party murdered? That's a measure. That's a measure. Real serious. But we measure the wrong things. We're not doing effective triage for the next generation. We mostly just don't care. We look at the person's fur, look at what side they're fighting on, and that's all we care about. I'm recycling everything these days: plastic bags, plastic, glass, rainwater, etc. And that's what you're supposed to do, Tamara. It's like, and you know, and the funny thing is, and that's awesome because you do it. You're not looking at what anybody else is doing. Like, I'm doing it, I'm gonna stop because you ain't doing it too. No, it's like, listen, I'm an adult and I got a responsibility to the next generation. This is a metric that is important to me and acting on it. And we don't have enough adults. And that's one of our biggest problems. We don't have enough adults in our world that are measuring anything important. They're not doing triage for the earth, which is what the next generation needs. They're doing triage for them. For their group. They're doing triage for their nation. They're doing triage for their political party. They're basically selling us out. We got a war effort, like in this picture. We got a war effort happening, and we're fighting for survival. We're fighting against extinction. But people are still using old dead systems like politics and representative forms of government to try to solve problems that they were actually made representatives to not solve. The single point of failure put in all these governments. Represent a form of government. People representing adults who should be making their own damn decisions. If you realize that the tool you're using isn't solving the critical problems on your planet, why are you still using that tool? If you got a screw and you need to unscrew it, if you got an earth and you need to unscrew it, why would you get a hammer that's labeled Democrat and Republican, a political party, apathy, indifference, and just start nailing away at that screw? And they just screwing the earth. They on the other side, they got the drill, they got the Craftsman electric drill, like they're putting more screws in there. They're just screwing the earth more. They're putting more screws in. You elected them to take the screws out. They're a hammer. They can't fix the job. And they're just screwing the earth more and more and more. And now we got Mars candy bars on the bottom of the damn ocean. Somebody tell me, what is wrong with our brains? Why can't we triage? And I get the mainstream media, and I get, I'm not in excuse mode this morning. Most times I'm in excuse mode. I'm not in excuse mode today. Today I'm just like, I'm not gonna. The mainstream media is what it is. I mean, people aren't fooled by this. Do people really still think that they're telling the truth in these BBC and CNN, Fox News? Do people really still think they're telling the truth, or people just don't care? I think they don't care. I think triage, they just look like, oh, nope, I don't care. Blood shooting out the neck and the human race. Like, nope, that's not my part of the race. That's not my group. That's a cousin that I don't really give two damns about. And so they still watch the news. Like, oh my goodness, did y'all see Vice? Don't ever watch Vice again. Vice is done. The old broadcasts were amazing. But now who owns Vice? Disney and somebody else done bought Vice, and now they're pro-war. Now they're pro-war. I think they're pro-Venezuelan invasion. Vice, I mean, everything sells out. Everything sells out. Everything that gets a blind following sells out. But they're sexy because they talk about drugs and freedom. So the millennials tend to love them. But if they're measuring the wrong things, if they're cheering invasion and colonization in Venezuela, why in the hell do we still watch Vice News? Money priority is the problem. Yes, Christine, money priority is the problem. I agree with you. You know that 1,000 times over. When you take away survival and you put money between survival and the species, that species will always choose this. This is why Jesus Christ overturned the table of the bankers in the church. And later we got mega churches that all got big bank accounts. Massive churches, big bank account. Oh, I was talking about that this weekend, Christine. I was thinking I was on a church thing this weekend. This whole idea that hang on, let me think about it. I was getting on it this weekend. I know Christians were mad at me this weekend. But y'all, everybody's serving the same God. You're just serving it in different ways. You just got different flavors. But this idea that you got Christian churches that are mega churches, and Christ hated money, Christ hated banks, Christ hated money changers, knew that this was going to come. And now all the churches are beholden to the money. So the churches have the same problem that the people have. In order for a church to survive in the United States of America, you got to have a bank account. You got to have money. People got to pay tithes. Money broke the church. So now you got big mega churches and homeless people dying outside. Jesus would be old. If Jesus were here, he'd be flipping the churches. He wouldn't even be flipping he wouldn't even look at the bankers. He'd just be flipping churches, just flipping all over the place. I think we broke churches when you put that, when you went from more of a giving the church 10% of your chickens, 10% of your cucumbers, 10% of your tomatoes. When you give the church 10% of that, what can the church do with that if you don't bring them 10% of your gold, 10% of your banker money changer money? If you started giving the church food, guess what? They can only do one thing with it. They can only feed people. You start giving the church chickens, the only thing they can do is feed people. If you give the church clothes, they can only clothe people. But if you give them money, they can build a mega church. That's why money breaks. Money breaks everything. All right, what we got? Most news is fake. Yes, Stacy, I think all news is fake. You gotta look between the corners. Vice is owned by the CIA. Is it, Mark? That's what I was thinking. Because as soon as they said Disney had the Mickey Mouse, I figured it's military-industrial complex. It's pro-war. Because they got enough blind following. And once you have enough blind following like a political party, then you can sell out. Then you don't have to worry about triaging any important. You don't have to measure any important measures of where we gotta go. And people will run with it and they'll fall in. It's funny how government pretends to recycle, makes people think the government cares. It's so damn funny. And it's scary, John. It's scary because the government's in bed with corporations. The corporations all have the negative externalities. The corporations need to litter the planet. The corporations literally need to destroy the planet to make money. They're all unprofitable. And so the government's in bed with the corporations. We have a corporatocracy turned oligarchy, but people keep voting for the government to clean up the land. But the people who give them the money got to dirty up the land. So it's either funny or sad. That's why, to me, the single point of failure is not really political parties. I'm not nice to them because they're fools, unfortunately. The leaders are, the people get walked in, but they're not trying to solve the problem. They're in bed with the people that cause the problem. The political parties can only exist if they take money for the problem. So there's no way on the planet they want to solve the problem. I just watched a movie, Vice, last night. Well, and Max, and Vice is kind of like anything else, right? Like RT is designed to lie to the Russian people, which is why I watch it, because they're not designed to lie to me. CNN's designed to lie to somebody. Vice is designed to lie to somebody. You can watch it, but you got to look between the cracks, because the single point of failure is not Vice. They use the mainstream media and CNN and all this to break people. The single point of failure, and like in my country, it's not Democrats and Republicans in representative government that has to go away. But the root failure isn't them. It's easy to always point the finger. The root failure is us. We consent to it, right? The root failures are intellect. We don't have intellect to be able to do triage to determine what is a real problem. That's why everybody I meet all day long, Brother John, I'm always telling people, you're 7 billion cousins all over this planet. You're just 7 billion cousins, 7 billion cousins, 7 billion cousins. So if you'll kill your cousins and steal their oil and steal their land, then if that's how you resolve problems in your family, then you should. But short of that, we're all the same family. We're not a species. We are literally a family. Science and religion both say we all came from the same people, so we're all family. So when we start solving problems like we're family, then we can kind of get somewhere. So there's a single point of failure there, and there's something I think we got to triage. That's blood shooting out a soldier's neck that we can save. We know we can save this planet. We can save our species, most animals, and fix these economies if we view each other as family. But you can break a family up. You can easily break a family up if you can get in between them. Like, how does somebody get caught cheating? Like, y'all think about a marriage, a relationship, and you got the cheater. You got that woman or the guy like, ooh, they together? Oh, are they? Oh, I can break them up. I can break them up. Because all they got to do is figure out a way to whittle in between the husband and wife, whittle in between that boyfriend and girlfriend, and they can destroy the family. They can completely destroy the family. Oh, because the person in that relationship or that marriage, they're not thinking about triage. They're not thinking about the highest priority. If I'm a mom and I got kids, do I really want to destroy my family for a ding-a-ling? If I'm a man, do I really want to destroy this thing that I have going for 30 years? House and investments and future and all these things I said I wanted. Got the kids, got to go to college, and I'm going to throw it all away for a vagina. I'm going to throw it all away for my male ego. The inability to prioritize in life. Big problem that we have. But if somebody can get in between the family, it can destroy the family. You can't get in between the family. That's why if you get in these marriages and these relationships, you need to get in with somebody that's not going to let anybody get in between. You want to get on an Earth planet? You better work on making sure that your 7 billion family is solid. Don't let no politicians get in between you. Let the political parties try to sucker you in because they got some high heels. I think that analogy might actually work. That might actually work because the political party and your Bernie Sanders and your Donald Trumps and your Barack Obamas, your Mays and Merkels and Putin want to get in between the 7 billion family and turn you against the other side because they got oil to make. They want to get in on that big sugar dollar from Mars candy that's just got candy wrappers made of plastic that falls 7 miles to the bottom of the ocean. But if they can get in between you and get you to be apathetic towards people, get you to be apathetic towards other poor people, get you to be apathetic towards China, and it can break up your family. I like that analogy. I kind of like that. Good morning, Brother Andrew. How do we know there was a plastic bag on the bottom of the ocean? Question mark. We weren't there, so the news show told us that, so it must be true. Well, Stacy, if I think about it, I get where you're going. You can't really trust the news at all. But for me, everything is a plausibility scale. Like, I don't do true and false because the media always lies about everything. They're always trying to control me and get me to think things. For me, everything's plausibility. Plastic doesn't break down. I know that's true. You know, there's microbiology, there's bacteria that's starting to break the plastic down, but I haven't seen it. I kind of think that makes some sense. But, you know, because evolving, everything is about consumption of energy. So is it plausible there is bacteria that's breaking down plastic in the ocean? Absolutely. Why? Because it makes perfectly good sense. Is it plausible that somebody was on a boat eating a Snicker bar and just threw the wrapper in the ocean? Very much so. Why? I've seen people do it. Coke cans. Damn it, Stacy, we throw people. You watch Dexter, right? So from a plausibility scale, is there plastic on the bottom of the ocean? Well, if the bacteria hadn't learned how to eat it fast enough now, then I see trash all over the beaches, then it has to be at the bottom of the ocean. Now, could he be lying? Absolutely. He could be totally lying. What's his name? Victor Viscasco? Something? One of my cousins, I ain't never met him. No, he could be a habitual liar. He could have went down there, didn't see it. He may not even gone down there. But from a plausibility perspective, we're destroying the planet. And so I think that it makes sense. So this is why, you know, I do plausibility. I do true and false. I just do plausibility. Oh, yes, he will. What we got? Jesus would bring out the whips, mate. If he saw the way that churches were today, Davina, oh my goodness, can you imagine if Christ came back today? Oh boy, I tell you what, if Christ came back today, I'd probably go hide in the bar. I ain't gonna hide in no church. I'd go hide in the bar. If he came back today, the way he was upset and he flipped them tables with the money changers and the bankers, and now the church, all they do is take money and save money in banks. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere near that. Lightning gonna I go find my atheist friends. I'll be like, where y'all gonna go? Where y'all hiding at? I'm gonna go hide with y'all. The God might be mad at them. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I know when he come back, it ain't gonna be anything nice. Let me see. Christianity ditched its wisdom components 1,700 years ago, and it's been a disaster since. It has, Brother Jonathan. It has, and it's so hard to have that discussion. Oh, it's so hard. So hard. Because people are so indoctrinated. Belief system is a mother hubber. When you convince somebody something is true and they build a whole life and raise their children to believe it's true, it's hard. But somebody I was talking to this weekend, when you're just newly discovering it, I saved my life. Oh man, it's so hard to tell them anything. But they're supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be excited about spirituality when you first uncover it. But I didn't get into her. I just gave her a little feedback here and there. Like, yeah, Christ was on point with all the love, this, don't harm anybody, don't boo, 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 boo. To clarify to the church they were doing things the Pharisees and Sadducees they're not supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be loving people. God makes everybody perfect the way it's supposed to. Whatever that God thing is, that God made gay people. You're not supposed to be out there writing Sharpies and saying foul things about them. Supposed to leave everybody alone, leave the free will to them that God gave. That's why Jesus came back, to stop y'all from being the modern people we are today in the church. That's why Christ came back. That's why Christ had nothing to do with Caesar. Why? Because Christ was not political, had nothing to do with political parties, governments, and none of that nonsense. Because none of that is spiritual. None of that is important. None of that is a measure. None of it measures anything important. They just measure the money. They measure the wealth. They measure all the things that he can't stand. That's why I think it's funny. It's like an oxymoron. They talk about conservative political groups. You're a conservative in a conservative old-fashioned type of way, not in a Christ type of way. Ew, no. But I kept it light on her. I just said, look up CIA, Adam and Eve story. That's all you need to know. Go look it up. Go read it. That's all you got to do. Just go do that and try to evolve. Try to move forward. Try to realize don't have... What faith is? You're having faith in something you think is true. So when new evidence, archaeology, science, new scripture, old texts that are a lot older than the book you're reading, prove that what you believe, your faith is not based in something true, you're supposed to keep moving forward. You're supposed to seek God. You're supposed to study to show thyself approved, which means you keep studying. You don't lock in with ignorance as to what they knew in 1872 when that particular translation was done. You move forward and learn. But that's what I think the whole Jesus point was. And I tried to tell her, I just said, focus on the love. Just focus on the love. Just focus on the love. Focus on the love. That's what Christ tried to give you. Somebody says something wise. Stacy around here, what she say? Something about Stop focusing on the messenger. Did you get the message? Somebody said, Stacy said that. Did Stacy steal that from mine? Sometimes you steal quotes from other people. I don't know. Ignore the messenger. Focus on the message. And that's why I tried to tell her. She was upset and discombobulated because the church has always got these weird things they put in it. The Bible is the word of God. That's not the word of God. The word of God is Jesus. Went back to heaven. Wake up. Grow up. Listen, I used to believe that when I was a kid, but it's hard to talk to someone when you lock that in solid. Part of it is because they already taught their kids that. Right? If you already teach your kids that, it's hard for egotistical adults to say, you know what, Johnny? It's hard for egotistical adults to go ahead and like read like, oh Lord, honey, did you read the CIA release Adam and Eve that second? Honey, we got a problem, Houston, we got a problem. Come here. Look at this. It's not what we thought it was. Oh no, we done taught them wrong. We got books all over the house and pictures and everything. Oh, this is the whole creation story. That's all wrong. No. In the Sanskrit text, that's not even what they were talking about. Oh Lord, oh my goodness. That was his daughter, and they restarted the human population. Oh Lord, we can't teach this. No, we can't read it. And they just shut down and we'll talk about it. Because it's hard for a parent to admit they're wrong to their kid. And that's craziness to me. It's craziness. I'm wrong all the time. My kids are like, Daddy wrong again. Daddy right. They laugh about it. Daddy wrong. Nope, Daddy wrong. Daddy wrong. Daddy. And it's hard to raise kids to be free. But I think I started doing it on accident. But just recently, I'm starting to get why something led me in that direction to free my kids from my own bigotry, my own arrogance, my own rearing and indoctrination, and let them just be free creatures. Is what Saj Guru said, right? We don't own children. We just got here first. We don't own them. You have children. We just got here first. What he say? I think he said the parenting job that's all about sex. That's just that's giving some sperm to an egg. After that, it's another life. It's something else. And you don't need to act arrogant because you were here first. You don't get to not be wrong. Be wrong. So I evolve my kids all the time. I was raised deep in the church, but I'm trying to make sure that they pick up where I'm leaving off, hopefully to be better than me, to be an upgrade of me. I don't want them to have the same indoctrination my father had and my grandfather had. I want them to move forward, right? Because that's another reason this Christ thing came here and Moses and the text and Aaron, the bad translation, the Sanskrit text, and why all the religions worship the same God. This God creature came here and to do this. Triage. It came here to say, focus on what's important. And the most important thing is not killing, not stealing, not coveting someone else's something. I'm not even going through the rest of them. There are only really 3 that you really got to get, and you're good to go. Leave other people alone. And if you ain't got that right, you don't need to be supporting those people. You don't need to be with those people. You don't need to be voting with those people. You don't need to be marching with those people. They hadn't figured out. You can't be apathetic that the only way this world works with an exploding population on limited resources is working together. And then somehow that became a religion, became 2 religions, got written in a text because it was so important, put in clay tablets, put on some scrolls, written in wood in India so people wouldn't change it. Calamities happened, ended up in Egypt somewhere. Moses translated, put that anti-woman crap in there. Egypt, Moses, love you to death, but brother couldn't read. He didn't know how to read geoglyphs. And so he took all of that anti-woman stuff. First original sin was women. No, it had nothing to do with that. In Egypt, they just didn't like women at that time. Women were cattle, and so they broke. And so here we are 3,000 years later, and people still treat women like they're trash. Right. I didn't mean to get down that route, but it kind of tied back to triage, right? Because whatever that thing is, that God thing, it came here, and it tried to give people enough common sense to focus on what's important. That's my point. Focus on what's important. What's important is love. What's important is your 7 billion family all over this planet. That's what's important. Focus on that. Solve problems like your family. Solve problems like your cousin. Well, not everybody. Some of y'all families, y'all fight too much. Some of y'all don't talk to each other. You know, but this is where I'm going with that. Triage. Focus on the worst issues. The worst issues. The things that we just should not be involved in. Why are we making tanks anymore? What purpose could nuclear anything have? Whether it's a nuclear power plant or nuclear weapon. You can't even get the original 1930s, 40s, 50s, whenever they lied when they said they were working, the original radiation in the cup. That original radiation is still there. Nothing's learned how to break that down. We are completely destroying the planet, and we got energy. We got free energy we can use. Focusing on what's important. Focusing on what's important. All right, I'm gonna do some comments, and I'm gonna get out of here. Watch the tortured Christ. Love prevails. Okay, thank you, Deborah. I didn't see it. I will do so. Cults matter way too much. Remix and make it your own. Well, that's what they do, Mark. Ever since this God thing came here to focus on priorities, governments and kings have tried to get people to not focus on them. Why? Because they want to farm people. They want to own people, control them, tell them what to do, make them slaves, and turn them against God. That's exactly what they did because people didn't focus on triage. Love, don't steal, don't covet. Don't sit there and stare at what your neighbor got, see what the other nation got. When just plotting on to steal it and kill them to steal it. That's what colonization is. That's why I don't have nothing to do with politics. Politics is always, no matter what the political party is, you're always killing somebody because you're coveting something and you're willing to steal it from them. And then you go to church on Sunday. All right, let me see. Hindu philosophy, a child is a guest in your home, not to be possessed. Thank you, Brother Jonathan. And that's what scripture says that I grew up on, right? You're just renting these kids. You're just a temporary babysitter. It's your job to not screw them up with your ignorance. It's your job as best you can to just help cultivate them and protect them from the ignorances of the world and your ignorances so they become something great. That's the only purpose. Get rid of the conditions from generation on generation, the bad things at least. Yes, Christine, don't hand our problems to the next generation. Make them upgrades, not stupid as we are. The most important thing is love. Yes, Deborah, no matter what the question, the answer is always love. It's always love. If the answer isn't always love, then you don't understand the question is coming from somebody who is a cousin of yours. Somewhere on this planet. If you do not recycle up to 85% of your weekly trash, you're not really recycling. Go on, Tamara, lead the way. I don't do it. I don't know if I do 85%. I recycle my refuse, like I recycle my garbage and stuff. I do composting and stuff like that. I recycle the plastics and paper, but I don't always get it. I don't always nail it, but you're leading the way in that. I know you're probably beyond me. You know, keep doing it and just sharing your testimony. And then help us to do it. Like, that's what we're here for, to help each other. Like, there's no arrogance in any of this. It's like we look at what the problems are, we do the triage, we fix it, and you learn how to do it best and easiest, and then you help us pass it on a system that makes it easy for us to do also. Greed creates abominations. Watch Dominion on YouTube. Warning if you are sensitive. Well, you know what, Marilyn, it's time to not be sensitive no more. We got to stop being sensitive. We got to be adults. We got to start being mature and stop being so sensitive, hiding under the covers and being apathetic. Church forgives you of your sins. Yes, it does, Marilyn, as long as you pay your tithe in cash money. Money, money, money. As long as you pay your tithe in money, you go ahead and pay your tithe in some chickens. Pay your tithe in tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and see what happens. Oh no, the church want to put the money in the bank. And it's not all churches. I like small churches. I do. Small churches tend to get it a little more. They tend to help more. I just don't think a mega church should exist. It makes no sense to me. You have too much money in the bank if you can have gold encrusted pews. In a world where there are children that don't even have rice and eat mud cakes and mud cookies. Trump was right about that. Shit. Haiti is an S-hole. It's an S-hole because we got a whole planet full of A-holes. Love them to death. Love them to death. But let's be honest. Jackass. Whole planet full of them. All cousins, all related people, all of this family should be looking out for each other. Plotting on how to thou shalt murder and thou shalt kill because thou is coveting something that's in your land that I want. Triage. Focus on the things that matter. Otherwise, we just end up with some really, really bad ideas. The church forgiving you your sins is the equivalent of the devil giving you a medal of honor, and sitting, same thing. You just got your medal of honor knuckle through it again. Yeah, well, so, all right, now, yeah, I am hard, John. I am hard on the church because I know what the church is supposed to be doing because I was raised in the church. But also, say something positive. Just because the church tries to pick and choose a messenger, tries to highlight a messenger, don't let them push you away from the message. You don't have to be in church. You don't have to be in a religion and a faith. The message is love. If you get the message, the messenger probably doesn't matter. So don't be anti-church. I'm not anti-church. And I'm not even anti-religion. I'm just saying there's one religion. It's called what's true. And what's true is if we realize we're all family and we triage the most important events in the world, the most important statistics, and forget about these SATs and GDPs and the statistics that don't have to do with murdering people and robbing them, then we'll end up destroying this planet. The statistics that show that all big corporations are all have those negative externalities, that they're all destroying the planet. There are none that are there to help us. There are no political parties that are there to help us. The system actually requires the money, the loot, the booty from destroying this planet, the pirating of everything human. Then you know politics isn't the way to solve anything. Make sure your kid's school has a recycling can. Absolutely, Tamarian, that's a good point. And people should get involved at the school system level. Official end of Iran. Trump playing his role well. Yeah, well, that's the goal, Rebecca. It's about treason. It's about popular treason. They get people to overlook treason and sending young kids to go murder other kids because it's big money, and to look the other way. That apathy. Greed creates abomination. Okay, got limited resources equals manufactured scarcity. Exactly, Marilyn, you're on it. And that's artificial scarcity. They literally starve people into conflicts financially and physically all over. Love makes the world go round. Yes, it does, Jennifer. Love is that power that keeps the world going around while money's trying to break it. We can fix that problem anytime we want. We have the automation, we have the robots, we have the ability to apply the robots and the power and the resources to do triage in the places that were most important to those people who say they got love in their hearts. Let me see. While their food, water, and air is poison. Ooh, Rebecca. I'm in on Rebecca. Got the voting going on, right? The government's there for you. They're there to save you. They're fixing problems. I drove past this massive mega city of a hospital popping up everywhere all over my country. Every corner. It's a drugstore, it's a gas store, or it's a bank. There's a hint. Number one, people aren't getting healthier, they're getting sicker, which is the indicator you're being poisoned. You're being poisoned slowly by the people who you say are there to help. And number two, look at the corner. Look at the corner. I forgot who, somebody said it. And I was just thinking about it. I'm thinking CVS, no, I don't say the name. Walgreens, I'd say all of them. Drugstore, owned by, who was that? Rockefeller and Mellon. Bank, owned by Mellon. And gas, Rockefeller and another family. Rothschild, right? So in a declining economy, if every daggone corner has the elite's businesses that are thriving, that should tell you everything you want to know about the oligarchy you live in. Everything else being put out of business, but the core key businesses that they were in are all thriving. That should almost tell you. It should almost tell you. It should be obvious to you who actually is writing the laws in your country. Triage. You don't own your government, can't fix anything. And a representative form of government, it needs to die. You don't have a horse anymore, you got a cell phone. Anyway, listen, I gotta get out of here. Y'all have a great day. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Triage. Identify the root cause of problems, identify what's most important, and fix problems at the root with the tool that's designed to fix it, not the foolishness you were given to steal a world on the problem. All right, I gotta get going. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. Triage. Bye-bye.